On the African savannah, every hunt is a cold, calculated chess match between predator and prey. Neither side is allowed a single mistake. Here, speed is only valuable in fleeting moments. Power is only meaningful when unleashed at the exact right time. Nature does not hand victory to the reckless. It belongs to the one who reads the situation faster, remains more patient, and strikes with absolute precision. Across the vast grasslands, visibility can stretch for hundreds of meters. A herd of zebras grazes peacefully. But amidst the dry grass, not far away, something else is moving. Eyes are locked onto the herd ahead. The African lion. While a fully grown male lion can exceed 440 pounds, 200 kilograms, the lioness carries significantly less mass. That physique is an evolutionary gift designed for maximum agility in the hunt. The tawny coat of the lioness blends seamlessly with the dry grass and earth, allowing her body to virtually disappear when lying low in the savannah. On the opposing side, zebras possess an equally formidable strategy. The black and white stripes do more than just identify individual members. When the entire herd moves together, they create a motion dazzle effect, a profound visual illusion. Plain zebras can weigh anywhere from 385 to over 830 pounds, 175 to 380 kilograms. Their large ears help detect sounds from multiple directions. Eyes set on the sides of their heads provide a sweeping field of vision. And within a large herd, there are always numerous individuals continuously scanning the environment. When the herd moves in unison, their overlapping stripes morph into a constantly shifting mass of visual chaos. The lioness must not merely catch up. She must also maintain absolute focus on a single target amidst the chaotic formation. Therefore, the predator waits for an individual to inadvertently single itself out. The lioness begins her approach, her belly pressed flat against the earth, her gaze locked onto an individual, slowly drifting away from the herd. They can reach speeds of roughly 37 to 50 miles per hour, 60 to 80 kilometers per hour, but only in short bursts, dictating that they must close the distance significantly before accelerating. The entire zebra herd instantly takes flight. The overlapping stripes blur into a chaotic moving mass, much like a deck of cards, shuffled too fast for the eye to track a single card. But the moment a single individual falls behind the opportunity, instantly belongs to the lioness. The hunt will eventually end. But the ancient arms race between these two evolutionary strategies rages on. One side continuously perfects the art of vanishing into the grass. The other continuously perfects the art of vanishing among its own kind. On the African savannah, no single strategy wins forever. There are only species that adapt better to the relentless challenges set by nature. The dry season makes every decision infinitely more costly. Water sources dwindle, prey must travel further distances, and predators simply cannot afford to squander their energy on futile pursuits. For the lioness, this environment is not merely a battleground. It dictates exactly how each species survives. And the lioness has evolved to adapt to these precise, unforgiving laws. The lioness is built for power, agility, and explosive bursts of speed. A fully grown female typically weighs between 265 and 400 pounds, 120 to 180 kilograms, can reach speeds of nearly 37 miles per hour, 60 kilometers per hour, and coordinates with her pride using highly subtle, almost imperceptible cues. But their true strength lies not solely in muscle. It lies in the unbreakable bonds between mothers, daughters, sisters, and generations sharing the same bloodline. On the savannah, a lioness has only about 10 to 14 years to live, mature, and secure the next generation. By the time she reaches 6 years of age, she enters the absolute prime of her life. She's not just a hunter. She is the beating heart that keeps the entire pride alive. Today, the pride's target is a herd of African buffalo. One of the most dangerous prey species on the savannah, but also the most rewarding prize if the hunt proves successful. An adult buffalo can weigh anywhere from 1,100 to nearly 2,000 pounds, 500 to 900 kilograms. Their thick, impenetrable horns and deep-seated instinct for collective defense make them one of the absolute highest-risk targets for a lion. If the buffalo herd holds its formation, the hunt could end before it ever truly begins. To even stand a chance, the lionesses must do what they do best, assign strategic roles, and wait patiently for a fatal misalignment to appear. A hunting party of about 12 lionesses splits into two distinct groups. One group advances just enough to deliberately draw the herd's attention. The remaining group silently flanks, seeking to isolate a weaker or inattentive individual from the impenetrable formation. Years of honed experience are poured into every calculated step. In that tense, electric moment, both sides are acutely reading each other's every movement. The exact second a single buffalo breaks away from the safety of the herd, the predators launch a synchronized, all-out assault. And just minutes later, the silent female warriors of the savannah claim yet another hard-earned victory. The Okavango is not like a normal dry grassland. Here the ground can turn to mud in just a few steps. Shallow water covers the grass, creating a world that is half grassland, half swamp. For many species, this is an obstacle. But for the red Lechwe, it is a distinct advantage. Because their bodies are designed almost exclusively for this aquatic realm. The red Lechwe's body tilts slightly forward with hind legs that are noticeably longer than its front legs. On dry land, this stance might appear somewhat awkward and unbalanced. But in the water, it transforms into a formidable advantage. Their hooves are wide and splay outward when striking the mud, acting much like miniature snowshoes to evenly distribute their weight across the soft earth. Because of this, the Lechwe can effortlessly navigate through the marshlands, where many other species would easily be bogged down. When pursued, this advantage translates into a highly extraordinary escape. When they need to accelerate, red Lechwe do not merely run. They bound across the water, using a specialized technique known as porpoising. Water exerts far more physical resistance than air. Therefore, with every explosive leap above the surface, the Lechwe temporarily breaks free from the heavy drag below. From a distance, they resemble reddish-brown arrows bouncing across the marsh. In the Okavango, even the red Lechwe's breeding season is inextricably tied to the water. Males establish small clustered territories known as leks, acting as temporary stages set right in the middle of the floodwaters. There they flex their strength, hold their ground, and fiercely compete to attract females. The females observe compare and predominantly choose the males positioned at the very center of the lek.
Yeah.
On the other side of the globe, the Pacific Ocean tests survival through near absolute isolation. Over millions of years, magma from deep beneath the seafloor continuously erupted, cooled, and accumulated into colossal volcanoes. Layer upon layer of rock stacked together. Peak after peak gradually pierced the ocean's surface. And amidst the vast open ocean, nearly 600 miles, 1,000 kilometers off the coast of South America, the Galapagos Islands were forged. A land born of fire. A place where life had to take root on barren volcanic rock amidst scorching sun-howling winds and the harsh salt of the sea. The Galapagos, where isolation does not halt life. It forces life to adapt. The vast majority of lizards are strictly bound to the land. But on the Galapagos archipelago, evolution has carved out one of the most bizarre exceptions in the reptilian world. They march down into the ocean, diving into frigid waters of around 59 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 degrees Celsius, in search of food. Over millions of years, these denizens of the volcanic rock have transformed into master divers. The Galapagos marine iguana, marine iguanas can remain submerged for up to 15 minutes before they are forced to return to shore. After every foraging dive, one of their most conspicuous behaviors is sneezing. It is not because they are cold. Large salt glands located in their heads filter out the excess salt swallowed from the sea and violently expel it through their nostrils. Their pitch-black skin then goes to work, absorbing the sun's radiant heat, rapidly warming their bodies after swimming in the chilling 59 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 degrees Celsius currents. When the El Niño phenomenon decimates their vital algae supply, the marine iguana unveils a truly extraordinary capability. They do not merely burn through fat and muscle. Studies have shown that their actual skeletal body length can shrink by up to 20%, only to regrow once food becomes abundant again. This remains one of the most extreme and remarkable biological adaptations ever recorded in a vertebrate. Living right alongside the marine iguanas is the Sally Lightfoot crab, one of the most vibrantly colored species in the Galapagos. Occasionally, they climb onto the iguanas' backs to meticulously pick off tiny parasites clinging to their skin. The crab secures an easy meal. Meanwhile, the iguana is thoroughly cleansed. Amidst the harsh, unforgiving rocky shores, it is a perfectly mutually beneficial relationship where both species reap the rewards of the other's presence. On land, the Galapagos sea lion appears heavy and sluggish. But the moment they step into the water, they instantly transform into agile athletes of the ocean. Two environments. Two modes of existence. And a single body that must seamlessly adapt to both. A fully grown male can weigh over 550 pounds, 250 kilograms, and measure nearly 7 feet, 2.1 meters in length. During the breeding season, he controls a stretch of the coastline, relentlessly patrolling to keep rivals at bay. This territory can encompass a harem of up to 15 females. Competitions typically unfold through deafening vocalizations, aggressive close-quarters posturing, and direct physical collisions. Every confrontation drains a massive amount of energy. The scars etched across their bodies are the brutal legacy of countless seasons spent fighting for dominance. On this crowded coastline, control never lasts forever. Beneath the surface, the sea lion becomes an almost entirely different creature. The front flippers generate powerful thrust. The hind flippers maintain perfect balance, and their streamlined bodies allow them to change direction, instantly gliding through the ocean with absolute grace. The highly sensitive whiskers around their snouts can even detect the microscopic vibrations left behind by passing fish. Because of this, the sea lion can track its prey even when visibility is severely limited. It is much like reading a scent trail in the air. Only this trail is written entirely by the movement of the water. Small fish sardines and squid are crucial food sources for the Galapagos sea lion. Mothers leave the shore to forage sometimes, forced to travel immense distances before returning to the shallows. Every journey is a delicate balancing act between the calories gained and the agonizing time their pup must wait. Upon returning, they face an entirely different challenge. Every mother-pup pair shares a unique acoustic signal, functioning much like an auditory fingerprint. Amidst the chaotic cacophony of the colony, they can still recognize each other, reaffirming their bond through gentle snout touches and resting closely side by side. In the tranquil tide pools, the pups begin learning how to balance dive and control their breath. These pools are not merely a playground. They are the first crucial classrooms before the pups venture out into the vast ocean to survive on their own. At 80 degrees north, on the edge of the frozen world, the polar bear has ruled these seas for tens of thousands of years. With its massive body and remarkable adaptations, it was built to survive temperatures as low as minus 49 degrees Fahrenheit. Beneath its thick white fur lies black skin that helps absorb what little sunlight the Arctic offers. Its large paws spread weight across thin ice and become powerful paddles when swimming through freezing waters. But this kingdom is slowly disappearing. Since 1979, nearly half of the Arctic's summer sea ice has vanished. And with that ice, the foundation of the polar bear's survival is also crumbling. For thousands of years, polar bears have hunted with incredible patience. They can stand motionless beside a seal's breathing hole for up to 20 hours, waiting for the slightest vibration. But as the ice boundary melts, a new force is rising from the deep ocean, the orca. Once blocked by thick ice, these notorious ocean predators can now freely enter the polar regions. While polar bears can swim in freezing water, their speed is far too slow compared to orcas, predators that move fast, think intelligently, and coordinate almost perfectly. Climate was once a protective barrier, but that wall is now collapsing. This forces polar bears to expose themselves to danger as they swim longer distances between shrinking ice floes. The polar bear's 600,000-year reign is being challenged. Not because they have grown weaker, but because the rules of the survival game are being rewritten by the invisible hand of climate change. The grim evidence left on polar bear carcasses is proof of a shifting order of power. The arrival of orcas threatens not only polar bears, but also disrupts the entire biological structure of the Arctic. The Sea of Cortez, a stretch of water more than 700 miles long between the Baja California Peninsula and mainland Mexico, is where tropical waters meet the cooler, temperate Pacific. Beneath its calm surface lie depths exceeding 10,000 feet. Cold currents from the Pacific continuously bring nutrients up from the ocean floor, creating one of the richest and most productive ecosystems on the planet. Phytoplankton thrive, feeding schools of small fish and sustaining an enormous marine food web. This abundance has attracted countless predators, including spinner dolphins. During the day, they gather in calm, shallow bays to rest. What makes this species special is not aggression, but extraordinary agility. True to their name, spinner, they can leap out of the water and perform up to 5 rapid spins in the air. It is like a breathtaking ballet choreographed by nature itself. But when night falls, the spinner dolphin pods move offshore, where deep ocean hunts are about to begin. Unlike the military-like discipline of orcas, spinner dolphins hunt like a highly coordinated crowd. They use their large numbers to encircle and overwhelm their prey. These predators are willing to dive as deep as 650 feet into the dark waters in search of food. It is a remarkable adaptation to the rhythm of the vast ocean. In the ecosystem of the Sea of Cortez, spinner dolphins play a vital role in the food chain. They are both agile hunters and an important food source that sustains top predators like sharks and orcas. Their presence helps regulate the breathing rhythm of the ecosystem, keeping the balance between species stable. If this link were ever broken, the entire layered structure of the ocean would fall into serious imbalance. Living in large family groups of dozens to hundreds of individuals, spinner dolphins have built a strong, cohesive culture. Those spectacular spinning leaps are not just for show. They are a language through which they communicate and understand one another. The synchronization in every swimming rhythm reveals a high level of collective intelligence, where each individual finds safety within the group. Protecting spinner dolphins means protecting the talented artists and the steady heartbeat of the Sea of Cortez. Let these beautiful spinning dances continue to exist forever, rather than becoming mere memories in old documentary footage. The mid-water layer of the Sea of Cortez. Here, power does not come from sound waves or the overwhelming force of a pack. It belongs to a single, perfectly engineered survival machine, the great white shark. A hunting design so flawless that nature has not needed to change it for millions of years. To reach this massive size, they must survive more than 70 years in the ocean, and it takes nearly 30 years just to reach maturity. like forging a sword. Nature needs a very long time just to sharpen a worthy ruler. A solitary dynasty, maintained by a single set of jaws. The great white shark's weapon is the perfect combination of muscular power and superior senses. With jaws capable of a bite force of up to 4,000 pounds per square inch and rows of razor-sharp teeth that are constantly replaced, its mouth is a never-ending weapons factory. Its sense of smell is so acute, it can detect a single drop of blood in 10 million liters of seawater. In addition, special electroreceptors on its snout allow the great white shark to detect prey even when it tries to hide. One of the most effective hunting tactics of the great white shark is the vertical attack from below. From the dark depths, they accelerate straight upward, breaking through the surface at speeds that can exceed 25 miles per hour. Though known as a killer, the great white shark plays the role of an ocean cleaner. By removing the old, weak, and sick individuals, they help maintain strong genetics across many species. If this apex predator were to disappear, populations of seals, rays, and many other species could explode beyond control, putting pressure on seagrass beds and young coral reefs. Those effects could eventually ripple throughout the entire marine ecosystem. But even a powerful predator like the great white shark has limits. Most of the time, they hunt alone. No pack, no support from others. For a great white shark, a serious injury can prevent it from hunting for weeks, and sometimes even cost its life. That is why they rarely engage in confrontations beyond their control, and often retreat when the risk becomes too great. Winter arrives. The surface waters of the Sea of Cortez prepare to welcome the greatest travelers on the planet, the humpback whales. Leaving the freezing waters of Alaska, they begin an epic migration spanning thousands of miles southward. "18 meters long, more than 40 tons. They glide through the ocean like enormous biological machines. In the Sea of Cortez, the warm waters become a natural sanctuary. Here, mothers exhaust themselves protecting their calves before beginning the life or death journey back to the Arctic. Their unique weapon is the longest pectoral fins in the whale world, acting like wings that allow their massive bodies to move with surprising grace. But the real strength of these animals lies in their collective intelligence. To hunt, they use a sophisticated technique known as bubble net feeding. The entire pod dives deep. They coordinate and release air. They create a spiraling wall of bubbles that completely traps the prey in the center. And when the panicked fish school clusters together, the massive jaws break through the surface from below in unison. Tons of food are swallowed in a single gulp. This tactic is not determined by genetics alone. It is knowledge learned, refined, and passed down through generations. But this is also a fragile link. If the pod's connection breaks, a survival skill millions of years old could be lost forever. Moreover, their dominance in the surface waters is not absolute. In the dark depths below, great white sharks silently follow. They wait patiently, coldly, only for the moment when the mother is exhausted, so they can take the life of her calf. What makes humpback whales truly special is not just their size, but their songs. Their songs can travel hundreds of miles through the deep ocean. Each population has its own unique repertoire. They do not repeat the same songs. They constantly change and evolve like a living language. It is how they locate one another. It is how each family affirms its identity in the vast ocean. Beneath the layer where humpback whales swim and sing lies an entirely different world, where sunlight no longer exists. At depths greater than 2,600 feet, the ocean is plunged into total darkness. There, another apex predator rules the abyss, the sperm whale. This is the largest toothed whale on Earth. Its enormous head makes up nearly 1/3 of its body length and contains the spermaceti organ, a specialized structure that helps regulate buoyancy during deep dives. Sperm whales can dive deeper than 6,500 feet and remain under crushing pressure for more than 90 minutes. At those depths, the water pressure is strong enough to destroy most human-made machines. But for the sperm whale, it is simply where they hunt every day. In this absolute darkness, vision is almost useless. For them, sound is the only way to perceive the world around them. The sperm whale's ultimate weapon is a 236 decibel sonar system, the loudest sound ever produced by a living creature. This burst of energy is more powerful than a jet engine at takeoff. It does not just map the three-dimensional world. It is strong enough to stun prey from dozens of feet away. A perfect biological sonar system, the result of 20 million years of evolution that modern technology has yet to match. This dark water layer is where silent, unwitnessed battles take place. Their opponents are humbled squid, aggressive creatures armed with tentacles lined with sharp hooks. Their life and death struggles are recorded only through the circular scars that cover the whale's skin. Survival here is an equation of pressure and energy. The winner is the one who turns darkness into an advantage and sound into a weapon of destruction. Sperm whale society is built on a strong, matriarchal structure. Each pod has its own distinct dialect. Individuals from different family groups cannot understand one another's language. A young whale needs up to 10 years to learn how to understand the world and the complex rules of the pod. One of the most majestic moments in nature is when the entire pod rests. They often float vertically just below the surface. In the deep blue water, those motionless giant bodies look like an ancient forest drifting through the ocean. The ocean is never silent. It is a vast biological machine engineered with absolute precision. For millions of years, this system has operated according to strict laws. In the surface waters, great white sharks control population density. Among the coral reefs, spinner dolphins distribute energy. Across the oceans, humpback whales establish navigation networks. And at depths of 6,500 feet, under pressure strong enough to crush metal, sperm whales drive the nutrient cycle with 236 decibel sound pulses. Every creature is a gear in the machine. Life and death here are not philosophical. They are a mechanism that maintains the stability of the entire planet. But now, this machine of life is developing a critical error, a serious system failure. In the Arctic, the disappearance of nearly half the summer sea ice since 1979 is not just a weather event. It is the collapse of a physical structure. As the ice disappears, polar bears lose the mechanical foundation they need to hunt. Orcas immediately fill the void. They move into latitudes once sealed by ice and coldly rewrite the entire set of rules. This shift in power is not natural evolution. It is a fracture, a systemic fracture triggered by climate change. As temperatures continue to rise, the ocean will not vanish overnight. It will decline, step by step. Without the sperm whale's navigation system, deep nutrient cycles will stall. Without great white sharks, surface food chains will collapse. Humans are not outside this system. Protecting the ocean is not an act of morality, nor is it sentimental compassion. It is a calculation of our own survival. Because the moment this vast biological machine stops turning, humanity will also be removed from Earth's chain of survival.